In Southwest Africa, the Herero and Nama populations were afflicted by Germans arriving in the 1880s. What became known as the German-Herero War from 1904 to 1907, these populations became scarce due to the Germans' foul treatment while conquering their land and using its resources. Perceived as a threat to German power, the colonizers began an ultimate destruction of all in Herero land once rebellion began. Due to the mass amount of lives taken and those targeted, Namibia characterized themselves as having been victims of genocide. During the Herero-German War, over half the population of present-day Namibia was wiped out by German forces. Headed by Commander Lothar von Trotha, a complete extermination of the people was ordered. He spared no lives in this decision. Women along with men, even those who were not involved in the primary revolts, such as children, were targeted. The extermination methods employed included concentration camps where medical experiments and forced labor were used, and forcing one into the Kalahari Desert, causing Namibians to suffer from dehydration. While they were exploited for their labor for a time, soldiers would ultimately work them to death. By the end of the genocide, historians generally agree in stating, out of the 80,000 Hereros at the start of the war, over 65,000 of them were dead by 1907. Hereros today want reparations for the lives and land lost. Apologies by involved Germans, including Lothar von Trotha's family, have not been enough for the deep-seated hatred still present in the country. The Namibian government is the force which could help get these reparations, but why do they refuse to? Some of the main reasons for this lack of support is due to not wanting to hurt past political relations with Germany and South Africa, who is also liable for giving reparations. Finally, the frustration towards the Southwest Africa People's Organization, SWAPO's influence in an unabiding government has further led to Hereros not getting the help wanted. The fight for reparations for the Namibian genocide has found little success due to the memory politics surrounding the situation and displeasure with SWAPO. Though Germany brought severe repercussions to Namibia, the aid received after has been acceptable to the government. The Herero People's Reparations Corporation felt otherwise, asking $2 billion for damages done. Germany agreed to help with development of the country and land reform, but not in reparations. This is unacceptable to Herero families of deceased relatives harmed in the genocide, who feel they have more to gain. Labeling the torture done to their people as a Holocaust influences many of them to be unforgiving. The Namibian genocide is seen today as a precursor to the Jewish Holocaust 31 years later. Because they see their population having been the first to face German torture, they find more reason to receive monetary aid. By focusing on reparations for this tragedy, Namibians can be seen as refusing to recognize political benefits by accepting German apologies. However, some Hereros have moved on, establishing a paramilitary system based on the German model. Young soldiers involved in the war took names and used materials written in German. The Namibian Defense Force has also accepted Germans to provide training to them. The willingness of Herero soldiers to acknowledge the Germans' wrongs in a respectful way and allow collaboration brings some hope to the Namibian government who want to keep peace. Hereros may not get what they want by forgiving the past, but long-term benefits may be had for consenting with modern politics. In addition to the want of German reparations, those from South Africa can also be drawn from their involvement in the Herero War and after. Their connections with the British gave them permission to invade Namibia and eventually take control from the Germans in 1915. Hereros then fell in the hands of South Africa as passed by the League of Nations mandate. While the mandate was to provide opportunities for Namibians to prosper, especially in regards to forced labor, these were not to be met. Even before South Africa asserted control over Namibia, Foreign Affairs Officer Bargwanyo points out soldiers from the Cape Colony aided Germans in inflicting pain on the Hereros during the war. Due to their suppression and aid to the Germans, reparations could be asked from South Africa, but are often left out. Author Cooper reveals, besides not wanting to hurt relations, Namibia has not requested reparations from the white South African government because they do not lay blame on them. Though their repression of the Namibian people could be seen as a form of genocide by their standards, it does not hold the same weight as the first genocide to press the matter further. Their friendly relationship today prevents them from wanting to press a lawsuit against their illegal occupation. Furthermore, SWAPO's influence in government has resulted in Namibians' intense feelings towards them, thus making the government reluctant to take action towards the desired reparations. SWAPO caused initial anger when it refused to hear Herero pleas during the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, believing it did not serve their attempts to take similar actions. Since its creation in 1960 by Sam Nujoma, SWAPO has had a great political role, gradually eliminating the Herero Liberation Party, SWANU. Due to the strength of this party, SWANU fell out of the fight for independence from South Africa, and SWAPO became the only continued movement. By 1974, it became recognized by the United Nations as the representative body of Namibia. The fight for political rights seemed no longer able to be discussed after this. To get full Namibian support, SWAPO argued the need for all political powers to stay together in an effort to throw off South African rule. The author of Let Us Die Fighting, Dressler, saw SWAPO as a promising movement by stating, "There can be no doubt that, with every day that passes, Namibia is moving closer to independence under the leadership of the Southwest Africa People's Organization." He was right, for in 1990, independence was had. But SWAPO would not be the only one to have influence in the government after independence, for the Democratic Tunhali Alliance, DTA, challenged it in the first open elections, and though they came in second, one supported Ruriko as the new National Assembly leader. This brought only short-lived courage to the leaders asking for reparations, since he did not last long after. Though he supported reparations, he caused further divide between the DTA and SWAPO, and ultimately the Hereros. Hereros today need to find compromise with the current government, primarily SWAPO, in order to get the support wanted. Reparations may have a hard time coming due to Namibians' continuation of stressing disgraces in past and present politics, which does not find agreement with the government. While some have moved on and accepted peace with Germany, there are Hereros who have not. They hold many responsible for their current situation, some who are giving aid but not in the ways requested. Support for the reparations campaign is their only hope of getting the money wanted, but it is unsure whether they will put aside the politics of memory and displeasure with SWAPO in order to achieve some support.